Yes, so now we are going to start some questions, which is organization is the system of consciously coordinated activities of forces of two or more persons. So this is one organization, and it is saying that this is the coordinated means negatively the removal of conflict, working at cross purpose and overlapping from administration. So positively, it's aimed to secure cooperation, teamwork among the numerous employees engage in work of organization. Without coordination, no organization could have consistently moved towards the goal. For the activities of its different member who neutralize and cancel out one another. So according to Mune, coordination is the first principle of organization and includes within itself all other principles which are subordinate to it and though which is operates. Not only that, but coordination also expresses the sum total of purpose of an organization of the internal purpose. The need for coordination arises from the natural tendency of the member of any large group when left to themselves to drift away in different directions, thus giving rise to conflict. So, from whatever cause the conflict may arise, it is obvious that they must be removed if the organization is to work properly. And coordination is a technique to remove them, according to some thinker. Coordination is not so much a problem of organization. Coordination become difficult, for example, in a disintegrated organization, and it's greatly facilitated in an integrated one. Okay. Now, next question is autonomy and accountability in public enterprises cannot work together. If I'm giving you autonomy to do any work, would you go for accountability? No, obviously. So, public enterprises in India are organized into four major patterns, which having different degrees of autonomy and accountability. Thus, departmental undertaking and government companies which have more accountability and lesser autonomy, whereas there's public corporation types where autonomy is more and the government does not interfere with their day-to-day administration. The performance of public enterprises depend largely on autonomy and accountability, both of which cannot go together. Autonomy means freedom of taking initiative and decision. It is essential for new innovation, whereas the public enterprises are seen on commercial line and where they have to survive and cutthroat competition of market. The autonomy is must. If any enterprise is made accountable, then it cannot take big decision on their own, and the worker and officers of that enterprise is elected to import new innovative ideas and fear of failure, and because of fear they will be held accountable. Okay, so this goes on show that in case of public enterprises, autonomy and accountability both cannot work together. Today we can see that public corporations which have a higher degree of autonomy in matter of finance and personal administration are doing well, whereas the department undertaking which are subject to rigid financial other control are not doing so well. So the reason is that they do not have the flexibility fully accountable to their respective departments. Example of these are Doordarshan, All India Radio and Post and Telegraph. But there's other benefits of accountability. It reduce the misuse and losses. It can be used for social purpose, which is of immense value in the country like India. In a democracy where the purpose exchequer money is put in government companies and department undertaking, it's imperative for government to make them accountable to the political representative. Autonomy and accountability, they both although cannot work together, but the best in their own sphere, there should be a healthy and harmonious blends. Alright, now next is widening gap in the emolument of government employee versus the public sector corporation and private sector employee has a strong bearing on the motivation and ability to work. So it's emoluments of government employee versus a public sector corporation and private sector employee. Public sector and private sector has a strong bearing on the motivation and ability. So on the motivation and ability to work. Okay, so what is motivation, what is ability to work, and why public sector and private sector has strong being? So the difference in performance of public sector and private sector undertaking has a strong correlation with salary and emolument given to their employee. And the post reform era, this gap is nothing but widening. The salary and emolument to any employee refer to his pay in cash. dearness allowance, medical allowance, house rent allowance, share in profit or dividend, and all the allowance, the salary and emolument have become primarily a concern in post-reform era as the salary have risen considerably. They facilitate the physical work condition, the opportunity to grow in career, the accommodation, the training, and the skill development opportunity. So due to calculation of salary emolument to an employee, whether it's public or private, the initial salary and emolument act as a primary attraction when a graduate come out university and stand on crossroads. Whether to join public or private, when this fellow see the scenic grid between the salary and emolument of two sectors, his natural choice becomes private sector undertaking. Even after getting into service, the performance appraisal system kick effective employee friendly in comparison with public sector. Here a performer gets good rewards instantly, where in public sector the promotion occur at the fixed time with hardly any difference taken between good performance and bad one. This creates a huge impact upon performance and thereby impact his motivation ability to work. In private sector, the increment can be whopping 100% and last salary. Public sector, it is only a few hundred rupees. So this greatly reduce the motivation level in public sector, which reflect in form of bad performance or organization and heightened level of corruption. There is also a difference in physical working conditions, and the government employee have to resort to excessive paperwork with very less use of application of information and communication technology. The chain table register file records keeping always be in very bad shape, while on the other hand the physical working condition private sector employee are very attractive and charming. They get air conditioned room, they have the exemplary use of information communication technology. Apart from that, they have a chance of improvement with easy approval of change and improvement. Generally, the public sector show very healthy and adaptive attitude toward change. This difference in attitude of public and private sector keep a huge gap between the ability performance employee of public and private. Moreover, it is said that potential performance of public tend to develop this attitude because of their constant interaction with same environment. In fact, it is also said that the bureaucracy is the last one to change. Here we can not blind ourselves towards the historical colonial impact that public sectors carry with itself. There is also difference in responsibility. The change of weaker section position in society lies primarily with public government, and the private sector moves ahead of already influential class. But their view reflect only one side of coin, as a public sector has different orientation, mixed type of economy, all developing third world country. The public sector bear more than one responsibility. Promotion of weaker section. For this provision of preservation is being given so widely in practice. So public sector has a heavily in defense related organization entrusted with the responsibility to preserve national integrity, security, public sector owned responsibility in case of disaster, program for poverty alleviation, employment generation, and apart from all these, the entry into public sector sends service determination towards the public. Only people with high sense of duty, high moral value, intact integrity, and public sector the choice to enter, or whether public or private sector is totally voluntary. Further, the service condition have improved considerably. Commission for pay for public sector undertaking are expected to improve acceptance of recommendation for 6 pay commission. Okay, so this